You want to learn how to build a base in Clash of Clans? Then this video is just right for you, as I will take you through the whole process of building a Town Hall 18 base from scratch and give you some insights into my thinking process throughout the build. With that, hello and welcome to yet another video. My name is Gumgum and Town Hall 18 got released a little while ago, so that of course means we're going to dive into Town Hall 18 base building with this base building guide. And what I really like about Town Hall 18 are anti-2-star bases, especially with an incredibly isolated town hall. So if you have like the town hall in the middle and you have it as isolated as possible, the long shot can really do a lot of harm, and you can actually get a ton of 1-star defenses, mainly just because, of course, the town hall is not a defense anymore. So some troops, if you're not using meteor golems, they are going to walk around the town hall, especially the royal champion is never going to take out the town hall as long as there are still a few defenses left on the field. So that's of course really nice. Also, I've got so many 1-stars already in Legends League, it's unbelievable. Just isolated cores where you can't really take out a core with an RC walk, with a long RC walk, is so incredibly annoying to attack, for me at least. But I think most of you can agree with me there. We're going to steal a little core compartment from my good friend Wolfie, because he shared a base a little while ago, like a few days ago, and I really liked his core setup. So we're going to take some inspiration out of that and then hopefully build our own base around them. That's just something, if you're new to base building, I can just really advise you to do so as well. Just take a look at other bases that are that have already implemented themselves into the meta. So just take a look at some bases that are now currently incredibly popular in Legends League, as well as of course popular in general in tournaments or whatsoever, and just take some inspirations out of that. So it is really hard to find your own good compartments, so compartments that work. It is, of course, who would have guessed, way easier to just take a look at what compartments are already working good and just take those. So that's exactly what we're going to steal, we're going to take some inspiration out of a core compartment from Clash with Wolfie, also an incredibly good base builder, who has helped me out quite a bit already on Town Hall 18. And he has some kind of a setup like this, but his setup would be like this, so you don't have the you have the town hall actually reachable from this side, which is, to be honest, not really a problem, because there's going to be a dead zone anyway, so troops, or at least the Archer Queen, isn't going to be there anyway. But still, I just like to have it unwalkable. You can do it either way, but to be honest, we're just going to do it like this, and we will have some storages in there. We'll leave that open for now. We're going to leave that open for now. Maybe we'll place some storages in there. Maybe we're also going to place some walls in there. We will still have to see. And I think Clash of Wolfie has this monolith into the core, but I think I'm actually going for the Revenge Tower. So I think I'll adapt it a little bit more towards my taste, and we're going to have the Revenge Tower in the core, and then we're going to have the Clan Castle in front of that. And now what we want to do is we want to have a little dead zone all around the outside. So we have a dead zone on all 4 sides of the town hall compartment, which is of course really going to be incredibly annoying for the attacker to attack. So that's exactly what we're going to do. We will have a little dead zone here as well. And then we're going to close off these compartments as well. We will have to take a look at where is the walkability of the Inferno Tower. The walkability of the Inferno Tower is 2 tiles diagonal, so it would be like this. So if we keep it like this, then now we can make it unwalkable. So that would be something like this. And now we can just continue building this compartment. or like this little dead zone, something like this. And then we have a little dead zone on that side as well. Now we can replicate the exact same thing on the other side as well. So on the, since of course it is going to be a symmetrical base, I just really like building symmetrical bases. Of course, symmetrical bases have implemented themselves quite into the meta, unlike Townhall 17 already. Townhall 16 you didn't really see anti-2-star bases. Same, well, Townhall 15 had some anti-3-star bases, so some asymmetrical bases. Now we're going to do the exact same thing on this side as well. So that would be one wall line right here, another wall line right here. Now the big problem is, okay, we'll probably do it something like this, so we can have one wall in this compartment to actually close it off completely. Of course, now you could say that it could be a problem that the Inferno Tower is walkable from this compartment, or we can just fix that by placing two walls right here. But to be honest, there's not going to be a troop in this compartment, but we'll just leave it like this. Maybe we'll need the walls. If we don't need those two walls, we can just leave them right there, because they still have some functionality. Not really too much functionality, but they still have some functionality, which is of course great. And now what we're going to do is we're going to switch off this compartment a little bit as well. Are we going to do it like this? Yes, most likely. So something like this looks quite clean, does it? We can switch it up a little bit, so we have it like this, and then we can place two storages inside of these compartments to actually clean off everything. And I think this now looks really neat as a core compartment. Now we can place two walls in there. And I think this looks like quite a nice core. Just take a look at the long shot, and the good thing about the long shot, it is most likely just going to stay in the Townhall compartment indefinitely. So it's going to remain standing in the Townhall compartment and just going to shoot its, well, long shots on every single troop that's walking around the Townhall compartment. And in combination with those two multi-inferno towers, that's just so incredibly much damage. But now the question is, how are we going to complete the rest of the base? First things are first, we need a good spot for our bomb hive. Bomb hive, of course, most likely, or well, not only most likely, it is the best seasonal defense there is out there. So you always, in every single base, you need to have a good use case for this bomb hive, which in this case, I'll most likely place it somewhere like this. So we have the bomb hive covering this section and then this section as well. And it's going to cover these two flanks as well. Only thing it's not going to cover is, for example, the 12 o'clock section of the bomb hive. So we need to build a compartment so the troops are not going to come from a 12 o'clock section, but rather from the side. And that's something we of course can do and also will do. First of all, we can make this compartment a little bit bigger. So something like this. And now we could do something like this. Or we could even place, I think I'm going to place the hero hall there. And now, just take a look. We can place some defenses inside of this compartment. To be honest, I'm probably going to place some geared up defenses right here. Probably something like this. Yeah, something like this looks good. And then just take a look. As long as you're like placing an RC directly, so we can learn RC walk directly into these compartments, or like directly into these defenses. We can maybe also do it something like this, or would it be bad? But you can see the people are instantly walking, or while the Royal Champion is instantly walking into the Ricochet Cannon or the Multi-Archer Tower, and therefore these bombs can do quite a bit of harm. Of course, you could be saying that it perhaps is better to have the bomb hive further inside of the base, because of course there is a lot of range going to waste now, because it's flying outside of the map. But still, having the bomb site outside of the base is still not a bad thing to do, to be honest. Especially not on like these diamond kind of bases, because if you would place it like something like here, just take a look, the bomb pipe is also doing quite a bit of nothing, because it's not covering many entries whatsoever. It's like covering a dead zone right there, and it's also covering 2 flanks on the bottom side that are not really doing too much. So having it far on the outside where it can just really cover some compartments where you, for example, would have a scatter shots. So of course we could place 2 scatter shots compartments right here, and then of course it would be covering those scatter shots, which is really neat, really neat. But now the question is, do I want to have scatter shots there, or am I going to place, I think I'm going to place some, what's it called, fire spitters right there, so we can have the fire spitters cover the core of the base. And I think that's something really nice if they can do so. Because now, of course, we have some more air damage in the center of the base, which I really like. Now I just need to make it hard for a world champion to actually enter into this compartment. So most likely I'm going to place like 2 storages on every single side of this. I'm going to place gold storages because I want to have it symmetrical. Gold storage right there, 2 gold storages right there. And now we need to place some defenses between that, which is most likely going to be some expos, so something like this. I think this is nice. I think this is really nice. Now the bomb pipe is covering every single thing of that. So as long as, for example, root riders would walk through this, then those root riders are most likely going to get screwed, which is really nice. Now we close off these compartments like this. And this is really looking good so far. I really like where this is going. I can maybe save 2 walls here as well. So that's 2 more walls saved, which is also really neat. And now we need another multi-inferno tower compartment, which is most likely going to be here on the outside. Maybe I'm even going to place the multi-inferno tower just on its own. So not without any protection or like walls in front of it. I think that's okay. I think that would be quite okay. So that's something we're going to take into consideration. But first, we still have some defenses to place. We still have a monolith and we still have a multi-gear tower, which I'm most likely going to place like a little bit symmetrical like this. Maybe something like this. I think this is quite okay. I think this is okay, and then we will have the compartments closed off something like this. We'll just we can still change this, of course, but I'm just going to keep it for now, so we just know how many walls we have to work with. So now we have like 40 walls left to create 2 compartments on the right hand side and left hand side where we would place our scatter shots. And now on the bottom side we can have our Inferno Tower, something like this, and we can have the Inferno Tower protected by a few storages as well as some heroes. So for example, a few storages like this, or first of all I'm just going to place like the Minion Prince as well as the Barbarian King in there, and we can maybe, I think something like this could be incredibly annoying to attack, to be honest. So now we have a little damage area here on the bottom side as well, which I think could be quite annoying, but I think I'm going to make it the Hero Hall as well. I think the Hero Hall is just a little bit better because the Hero Hall is just a little bit beefier. Yes, so something like this looks really neat. Then we can place the Dark Elixir storage in the top side. Still does the same thing, is going to tank for those 2 geared up defenses. And as well going to lure the world champion hopefully into the bomb hive. Perfect. Now we still need some scatter shot compartments. The question is, how am I going to place those scatter shot compartments? I have like 30 walls, so I can have 15 walls on each side. Can I make a whole compartment like this with 15 walls? Something like this would be possible, but that would be too small. So it would be something, it would have to be something like this, right? So this would be 15 walls. Then we can steal 2 walls from the core and kinda close it off. Then we can do the exact same thing on the other side as well. We will have the scatter shot. We will have it closed off something like this. Perfect. And this would be kinda our base. And I like it. I like it quite a bit. I think this looks very, very neat. Now the big question is, where am I going to place the remaining defenses I have? I still need some damage here on the bottom side. I also still need to place some ricochet cannons. Maybe I'll place like my ricochet cannons right here. Do I like that? Or will I place something else there? I think it's good having the expos right here. So we have some expos right here. And then we can place maybe our air defending heroes into these 9 and 3 o'clock compartments. So we have our air heroes right here that are going to defend a flame flinger a little bit. But to be honest, you don't really need to worry about flame flingers in Tunnel 18. Because, well, if you want to play a flame flinger, if you want to force a flame flinger, you're always going to get value. Always. Like, it doesn't matter, because you don't really have the buildings anymore to protect for snipes for expos, so you can snipe out expos easier with rocket loons. And on top of that, if that wasn't already enough, you of course have your totem spell. So you can just deploy a totem spell in front of your flame flinger, and the flame flinger is going to get value because it can tank expos. So that's not something we're going to have to worry about. But I really like where this base is going, to be honest. I just need to take a look at how I'm going to finish it off. Am I going to place some Super Wizard's Tower right here? I think that's okay, right? If I place some Super Wizard's Tower with Super Wizard Towers right here. Maybe even something like this. So we're going to force an RC walk either into here or into the scattershot compartment, so it isn't too easy to actually make your way into the monolith. That's exactly what I want. I want to make it a little bit harder to get into the monolith compartment. Maybe I will even get rid of the expos. That's something we can also take into consideration. Maybe even do if, like, place the expos something like this. And then we can close off these 2 compartments with something, so some kind of trash building. Still have to take a look at what I'm going to use, like maybe a gold mine or so. I would love to have a storage, but I can't really take a storage out of... Can I? Can I steal a storage from somewhere? Probably not, right? Like, the storages here in the core are quite nice. The storage right here is quite nice. So I don't think I can steal any of the storages, which is a little bit unfortunate. And I also don't have any walls to do so. So it probably just will have to be some gold mines. So we'll just place gold mines there for now. And that would make that you have an RC walk going from the air defense towards the top side. Or you have an RC walk going into the Super Wizard Tower. But going into the Super Wizard Tower will just be, I would say, suicide. That's not something I can recommend you doing. And especially if we place like some bomb towers in front of that, it will be a little harder. And we can place some mortars right here. Once again, you don't really need to worry about flame flingers. So you can just place the mortars how you feel like it. And maybe just to defend some snipes on air defenses. That's more than fine. That's, to be honest, more than fine. We can maybe also do something like this. Then it's not going to protect it completely. But if we place the bomb tower like this, then it's going to cover an air defense snipe. So we can place the bomb tower like this. And we can place the wizard tower as well as the mortar on this side as well. And now we have this air defense protected from snipes. which is really nice. And also it's a little bit harder to actually make your way into that compartment with a Royal Champion charge, which of course also quite neat. Then we're going to place air defenses like this. And maybe some builder huts in here as well. They're going to protect that. We can place the fire spitter maybe like this, so we can have the fire spitter inside of the range of the builder huts as well. Poison tower is probably going to be placed right here. Or do I place it right here? Where do I place the poison tower? I think I like it a little better behind the spell tower. I think behind the spell tower is just in general a little bit better. So that's exactly where I'm going to place them. Now the big question is, what am I going to do with air sweepers? To be honest, I don't really need to have any idea what to do with my air sweeper so far. I probably need to cover like the bottom side, so something like this maybe. I think this could be quite annoying. But do I like it? That's the question. It is, of course, going to cover any dragon entry from the bottom side, but of course, you're going to do an RC walk into the bottom side anyway. But the RC walk into the bottom side is quite easy to bait. But to be honest, you're not going to go in with dragons from the bottom side, since you have the fire spitters at the top side, and you would go in against both those fire spitters, which is probably not something you're going to do and not keen on doing. So we have to do something else. Maybe we can also place like the air sweepers in the core of the base. Something like this maybe. Maybe also even something like this. Now it's just going to cover the 2 dragon entries you have and just constantly sweep those out of the core. To be honest, I think this is quite okay. I think this is quite alright. We can place the Archer Queen maybe a little bit further outside, and we can maybe place some walls in here as well. I think I like this. I think I like where this is going. Now we can maybe also place some buildings like this. Something like this. And then we'll have the RC walk pathing into the bomb hive also a little bit more annoying. I think I really like where this is going. We still have some... What's it called? We still have some builder huts we need to use. Maybe I'll just place some builder huts in the core, to be honest. Maybe something like this. Yes, this is covering the monolith. This is covering the multi-gear tower as well. And we can have like one builder hut maybe on the bottom side as well. Something like this maybe. Yes, I think something like this is really, really nice. I think we now have an incredibly annoying setup at the bottom side as well. We have the builder hut there, protecting the clan castle, protecting these 2 expos, protecting the hero hall as well as these multi-archer towers. I think I've cooked something. I think we have cooked, guys. We have cooked. RC entries. What are going to be the most common RC entries? If I were to look at this base, where am I going to entry with my RC? Most likely at like the top side, so into the bomb hive, or like into the bottom side. So those are the 2 most obvious RC charges. Problem is, if you go at the bottom side, you have to go against 2 of those air sweepers, which is really not too neat. Plus you have the revenge tower completely on the back end, and the RC charge in general just looks incredibly nasty. It looks easier to do an RC charge at the top side into the bomb hive, and then you can like entry into the back end of any of those fire spitters with like the meteor golems or so. So I think I'm going to place maybe the giga bomb, something like this. So we'll just scare off some RC charges in the bottom side, and then we're going to place our tornado trap, as well as quite a bit of our bombs in this compartment. So we can like bait a RC charge in this compartment a little bit. The question is how am I going to place my spring traps? So an RC charge into the top side, how would I play it? Most likely I would just instantly drop the RC onto the ricochet cannon, then the RC is going to walk away from the ricochet, so it's going to walk... No, it's going to go at the ricochet cannon, and then it's going to go after these buildings. I would probably take out the archer tower, and then it's going to walk inside. So we need to do something about that, and we can maybe place like 2 spring traps right here and hope for them to trigger, and we can also place like maybe some spring traps right here. That could hopefully be alright. First of all, we can place some trash buildings. To be honest, trash buildings doesn't really matter how you place them, as long as you just don't really offer too much chain value for E-dragons. But to be honest, E-dragon chains are not really too relevant anymore. We can also place like the air defense a little bit inside, so we also have an E-dragon chain covered by that. But to be honest, E-dragons are not really a troop you have to worry about right now. You really do not, to be honest. Like, E-dragons, of course, they are incredibly strong, but just take a look at the base. You don't really have too many good E-dragon chains. Like the air defense, you don't really have any chains. So as long as you just don't clump up the base too much, E-dragon shouldn't be a thing you have to worry about. We can place the bomb tower like this, and then we place some storages right here. We can maybe place like some army camps right here, as well as the workshop. And then we have everything like here perfectly covered. We can maybe place it even one further outside. Do I like that? I think it's okay. Or is it now risky for an RC to go? No, okay. We'll change it back. We'll maybe even have it like this. Because I really do not want an RC to step from the bomb tower to the air defense. It's something I really do not want to happen. So that's something we have to just fix, and I think we did it perfectly right here. Now we do the exact same thing on the other side. Bomb tower placed 2 inwards. Then we had the spell factory. So I have the spell factory place here. Then we'll have the army camp, and then we had a drill. We already have to use every single drill, so I use the laboratory. And now we're really finishing off the base. And it's looking really nice so far. Something's still a little bit off with this base, and I've already found it. We need to switch everything 1 more tile downwards, and now everything is symmetrical again. We'll place some buildings right here as well. 1 collector and then the barracks. And now we can place another collector right here in combination with the pet house. On here also collector in combination with the blacksmith. Now we have 1 more trash building left, which we will just have to squeeze in somewhere where it fits. Maybe I'll even place it like 12 o'clock. And then squeeze in the Bob's hut somewhere right there. And this would be the base. This would be the base so far. Now I just need to take a look at how am I going to fix the most common RC chart entries. So one would of course be into the bomb hive, but probably from... are people going to walk into the bomb hive? Are people scared to go into a bomb hive? Maybe yes, maybe no. I can't really... Maybe also an entry people could do is maybe go in from the right hand side and then go after maybe the fire spitter and then launch your meteor golems into the bomb hive. To be honest, if I look at it again, walking into the bomb hive doesn't really give too much value, to be honest. So if you're going to RC charge into the bomb hive, of course you get some value. But in the end, what do you get? You get the bomb hive, you get 2 air defenses, 2 expos, 1 ricochet cannon, 1 multi-archer tower. That doesn't really matter, to be honest. That doesn't really matter too much. So I think it's more important to cover the RC charges that actually offer some value. Which would be into the monolith, into the multi-gear tower, or into any of those fire spitters. And I think going into the into the multi-gear tower or into the monolith is the more obvious approach. How I would at least see it. Because That's the damage area you have to take out. If you don't take out this damage area, it's going to completely screw you up. So we're going to place 3 giant bombs on every single side of this. So 3 giant bombs right here. Then we can place 2 spring traps right here. Those should hopefully cover any RC walks that are going straight from the bomb tower. You're going to go after the bomb tower because if you place it a little more downwards, so like at the bottom side of the bomb tower, your RC is most likely going to walk to the multi-arch tower and you're going to dodge the multi-gear tower, which you don't want. So you're going to go in directly from the bomb tower and then you should step into every single one of these traps, hopefully. That's hopefully going to work out exactly how I plan it to. So these traps should now be placed relatively nicely. We can maybe also place some spring traps right here. So we can maybe place like 1 more spring trap right there, which is also going to do some harm. And then like one more small bomb maybe. And then we have those RC walks covered a little bit. Of course, we have to test it whether it's going to be enough to actually destroy an RC walk, or maybe we'll also have to place like some more giant bombs at the bottom side and some spring traps there as well. But I would love to fix at least one of the remaining RC walks for a fire spitter as well, which is most likely going to be from the right hand side, because people, of course, right-handed, they're going to attack from the right hand side. So that's exactly what we want to cover and are therefore going to cover. So RC would be placed on the mortar. From the mortar, it's going to go to the wizard tower. From the wizard tower, it is maybe probably going to go inside after the air defense. So that's exactly where we're going to place our giant bomb, something like this maybe. I'm only going to bait it one-sided. I can't bait it two-sided. That's just a little bit too much, unfortunately. I can't really afford to bait it two-sided. That's a little problem. But it's something we'll just generally have to deal with. That's life. That's life. We can't bait it two-sided, so we have to do it one-sided. And hopefully this is now going to catch the Spirit Fox together with the RC, something like this. We can maybe place the tornado trap here as well. Or do I place the tornado trap at the bottom side? Maybe I'll like the tornado trap here, maybe a little bit more. That's the question. Where do I want to place the tornado trap? Do I want to place it at the bottom side, or do I want to place it on the right hand side? I think I'm going to place it on the right hand side for now. Of course, it's subject to change, whether depending on how the RC walk is going to go through here. But of course, it's just something we have to test. How is the RC maybe pathing? The RC is maybe also going to trigger this spring trap, or RC is going to go in from the right hand side, and it's walking right there, so maybe the spring trap right here should be able to trigger, hopefully. Hopefully this is going to trigger. You're going to place the RC from there. It's going to, yeah, maybe something like this. I'll place it like this for now. Hopefully the spring trap is also going to trigger. But this is a little bet. It's a little bit of a bet whether that's going to trigger or not. Now we still have Tesla as well as a few traps to place. But what am I going to do with my Tesla? Am I going to just dump a Tesla farm at the 6 o'clock section? Like, that's something we could do. We could just dump a Tesla farm at the 6 o'clock section, and it's going to be nasty for an N2 or maybe also on the backhand. But to be honest, if you're going to entry in there with meteor golems, the Tesla farm, is it going to do a little bit? I don't know. The problem is at 12 o'clock. So I see the Tesla farm. I have 3 options for the Tesla farm right now. Either at 6 o'clock as a damage area, at 12 o'clock as a damage area, or at like at this section of the base to lure, for example, an RC walk around the scatter shots. So that, I mean, around the fire spitter. That would also be an option. But to be honest, I don't really know whether it's going to do too much at the 12 o'clock section, since there's just not enough damage. So if someone's going into the 12 o'clock compartment, the Tesla farmer is basically going to do absolutely nothing. Which is, of course, not exactly what you want. So I think, to be honest, 6 o'clock is most likely the best section for the Tesla farm to be. So something like this maybe. Or maybe we can even place it a little bit more inwards, so something like this. Is this annoying? To be honest, I think it is. I think having a Tesla farm something like this just to have a significant amount of damage in this area could be quite okay. I don't know whether I like this Tesla farm, right? I mean, there's Tesla behind there, or if I want the Tesla to be a little bit more offensive. I think I like it if the Tesla farm, if the Tesla is protecting the multi-arch tower a little bit more. And now we're going to place some skeleton traps. We're going to place one skeleton trap right here, one skeleton trap right there. And we're going to place one air skeleton trap in there as well. And maybe we'll place another skeleton trap in the monolith compartment. I think something like this is okay. I think something like this is okay. Or do I even... Maybe I'll just have one ground skelly, one air skelly, and then another skelly right here. Maybe also even a few air skellies. To be honest, nah, we'll just leave it with ground skelly for now. So something like this. This would be it then. We can place a little bit more in the middle. And now the question is, what would be the most common entries for Meteor Golem charge? I mean, Meteor Golem smash or Root Fighter smash. But to be honest, that's of course something where you can place the Seeking Air Mines against. But to be quite honest with you, destroying healers with traps is incredibly hard, if not near impossible. Because healers, most of the times, they are just going to be invulnerable. They're really going to be completely invulnerable. Because of course you have Cocoloons, you have the Sneezy that is going to trigger the red air bombs, and of course you also have the troop launcher that is going to launch Cocoloons into the middle of the base. So now the question is, am I going to use it to actually trap healers? Or am I going to just use it to maybe trap like Hydra or so? So we're just going to place some Seeking Air Mines in like the biggest damage areas just to cover something. So something like this would maybe be an idea. And maybe also a little bit in the core. So this is of course something we could be doing. Which is, to be honest, maybe also not too bad. To be honest, I think I like these split Seeking Air Mines, because maybe they can do something. Maybe they can also get rid of a minion prince or so. And they could still be triggering a healer if you're like lucky or so. I think it's the best thing to do on this base, to just have some split Seeking Air Mines, just to cover maybe the core of the base. Maybe like one dragon is going to split off and then it's going to soak some Seeking Air Mines and it's going to go down. I think that's quite okay. I think that's quite okay. Maybe we can place like one more Seeking Air Mine right here and one more right here. That is hopefully going to catch some healers. Maybe I'll even place it at the top side, so something like this. I think this is okay. But now I still need something to place my red air bombs. And I don't really know what to do with those, to be honest. If I'm quite honest with you, I have no idea. Like, most obvious, Meteor Golem Smash is going to go in, like, we have the RC walk here on the right hand side, and then we're going to do a Meteor Golem Smash at the 12 o'clock section, or we're going to do a RC walk into, like, the Super Wizard Tower, any of the Super Wizard Towers, and then a Meteor Golem Smash from, like, 6 o'clock. But then the backhand is so incredibly tough. Like, to be honest, I think this is a great all-rounder base. I wouldn't really have an idea how I were to attack it if I were to have to attack it. I think this base has turned out quite well. But I still don't know where to place my... what's it called? My red air bombs. But I think I'm just going to place them into this dead zone so far. So hopefully they're going to like... catch some healers, perhaps. Maybe they do, maybe they don't. We can also like get rid of these two and place them right here. Because now, of course, if you have some Cocoloons that are on the scatter shot, they're going to go to the air defense and maybe not trigger those red air bombs. And if you have some root riders going in there or meteor golems, they're going to hopefully walk through this red air bomb farm. Hopefully. Of course, there's also a lot of copia. Maybe we'll have to place something like this. I think this is okay. I think this is okay as a red air bomb farm, which is maybe going to work. But of course, traps are something you always have to test. Traps are something you just have to test. You can't really rely on traps, on trap placement if you place them freshly. Because always there's some things can happen. Maybe the things just don't trigger how you intended to go. This is something you just really have to test. So just take a look at how we have to take a look at how are people going to attack this base for sure. So we will just run it in Legends League, for example, and then in Legends League we can see what are the most common entries, we can place the traps against those entries. But I'm incredibly happy with how this base turned out. I hope you were able to learn something on this base, of course. What I'm most likely going to do is place a 2 ice golem, 1 furnace CC, because those ice golems here on the bottom side can do quite a bit of harm, and also the furnace is just going to do some constant damage over time. So 2 ice golem furnace is a really good CC on this base in particular, and also in most bases in particular. So this is what we're going to go with. Hopefully it's going to work out. If you want to copy the base, the link is of course in the description. I hope you were able to learn something. If you like these kind of live builds, these base building guides, just let me know down in the comments. Also, let me know down in the comments what town hall levels you're looking to see next. Because, of course, we have covered some town hall levels. We've covered town hall 16, 17, 18 now. Town hall 9 and town hall 10. I'm looking to bring some people onto the channel that are going to cover town hall 11, 12, 13, 14, since I don't have the accounts myself. But if that's something you're looking to see as well, if you want those town hall levels covered as well, just let me know down in the comments and I will try my best to have something do that for you guys. With that, I would say, see you guys soon with the next video. Until then, see ya and bye-bye.